Hello and welcome. You're watching the Karnataka edition of the National Debate. I'm Padmaja Joshi and we are coming to you at a time where the Election Commission has taken an extremely strong decision to issue notice both to the BJP and to the Congress presidents for speeches made by the tallest leaders of both parties, the Prime Minister and Rahul Gandhi. In its notice, the Election Commission has said that it's incumbent on the leading lights of these parties to ensure that the standard of debate doesn't go down in public discourse, especially in a heated political campaign. Viewers, we are now past the second phase of polling. As I speak to you, the phase 2 of polling has gotten over on Friday, but the question is, what happens now to the discourse going forward in this election heat in a very, very hot summer? You've got 5 more phases left. The question is, who is injecting hate in the election heat?
पहले जब उनकी सरकार थी उन्होंने कहा था कि देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। इसका मतलब ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे। घुसपैठियों को बांटेंगे। क्या आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा घुसपैठियों को दिया जाएगा? आपको मंजूर है ये?
I get really surprised when I hear the Prime Minister giving speeches where he says, one nation, one language, one leader, one religion. How can you tell the Tamil people that they should not speak Tamil? Or the people of Kerala that they should not speak Malayalam? Or the people of Bengal that they should not speak Bengali? Every single Indian language is as important as every other language. And so the BJP does this with language. It does this with where you're from. It does this with your caste. It does this with your religion. Wherever they get an opportunity, they divide our country.
And on the national debate, joining me today in Bengaluru, we have Madhu N. Rao, spokesperson of the BJP, author Anurag Naidu, senior journalist B.S. Arun, Syed Shafiullah Sahib, who is a spokesperson of the KPCC, Dr. Basavraj Itnal, who is a political analyst, and advocate Brijesh Kalappa. So let me start with you, Madhu N. Rao. When the Prime Minister in Barmer said that Hamara Sampatti lekar ke, that the property of people is going to be taken away and it's going to be distributed to those who have multiple children, does that qualify as hate speech? The Congress has gone to EC, the EC has issued notice.
Well, I think it all started from the manifesto of the Congress party. If I could be more specific, please, I would request everyone to read page number 28, para number 21, when they say that inequalities would be seen and with the proper policies. Now, what does that mean? So that has been aired by our Prime Minister, saying that as to why this should happen, why such a thing should happen. And that has been, the statements, or rather to say the manifesto, whatever as the Congress party has been extrapolated by Mr. Sam Pitroda. What did he say? He specifically said, in an interview perhaps in US, he said that 55% of the inherit, whenever you inherit a property, 55% the government will take and 45% will be given to you. And added to that, in continuation of that, Mr. Rahul Gandhi says there will be a scanning done, and now you have a government in Karnataka who's again bringing back the aspect of 4% reservation for the Muslims in the 2B category. Now, if you see all this in perspective, obviously the public at large is feeling discontent, disgruntled for the fact Congress party could have not done such a thing. What did they do from 1947? A question comes to be asked. So therefore, there is an amount of discontent that has been rightly aired by Prime Minister.
Okay,
now it's for the Election Commission to take cognizance of it, and will surely appropriately reply to the notices.
You brought up the issue of the Muslim quota being carved out. Let me take this across to the Congress. But before that, let me tell our viewers what Siddaramaiah has said. Siddaramaiah says, Prime Minister Modi's claim that the Congress has transferred the reservation quota from backward classes and Dalits to Muslims is a blatant lie. It stems from ignorance but also indicative of his desperation, born from a fear of defeat. No leader in the history of our country has ever demeaned the office of Prime Minister to such a level. Essentially, they are saying that this was brought in by the then Devagowda government. But what Mr. Siddaramaiah is not mentioning, that initially it was the Veerappa Moily government, it was the Congress government that decided to carve out a Muslim quota. The BJP's argument is that you are appeasing, and what the Prime Minister said in Barmer about the redistribution of wealth, about Muslim quota, is just indicative of the larger malaise.
See, let me tell you, Padmaja. First of all, the Prime Minister is not only for a section of Prime Minister, he is a Prime Minister for all 140 crore of Indians. The Muslim community, which is around 25 crore, is falling behind in every sphere of life. And the Rajendra Singh Sachar committee has shown very clearly that Muslims in India are much behind the Dalit community. Hence, bringing them equal to the other sections of the society is the duty of all the governments.
Also to
whichever
uplift the
government.
economically
And
backward class.
is the duty of my Prime Minister also. Whereas our Prime Minister, while talking in Rajasthan and in Madhya Pradesh, he has let down completely one big section of the society of India, that is Muslims, 25 crore of Muslims. Not only that, he is very clearly taking the help of lies and trying to incite one section of the society that the Mangal Sutras of women will be taken back by the Congress and it will be distributed among Muslims.
About the Muslim quota. The charge is very simple now, that
That's
backward
my
people are being disadvantaged by the Congress wherever it is in power, whether it is a pilot model in Andhra, whether it is Karnataka, or what your ally has done in
I
Tamil
want
Nadu.
to ask question both to all the parties and to you also, that don't you think the Muslims of India also should be brought up equal to
Everyone
other
should be brought
communities?
up, sir, whoever-
Of
okay,
course,
okay.
of course. Take them along with you, all the economically backward sections of the society, including Muslims.
Okay, so
Why
you are
Muslims
ghettoizing
should be
Muslims,
left out?
you are ghettoizing Muslims, and it's a hate crime.
Why our
30
Prime
seconds.
Minister want Muslims to be left back?
Okay,
Padmaja,
respond.
give me 30 seconds. I think the Congress has understood, or rather to say they have misunderstood things. I want to ask Mr. Siddaramaiah, who is a chief minister and also a law graduate, where in the constitution specifies that there could be a religion-based reservation. Now, what we are against is a religion-based reservation which is not given in the constitution. Now, if you are talking about the OBCs, fair enough. You can give under 15.4 and 16.4 of the... 1 minute, sir. You can give under... 1 minute, sir. Kindly, sir. 1 minute. 1 minute. I didn't interfere. You can give under...
Muslims should be
Sir, 1
developed.
minute, sir. Kindly, sir. You can give under Article 15.4 and Article 16.4. No one stops you from that. But the fact of the matter is, we only had taken it
has
out
the
because it
BJP
was a
government-
religion-based
has the
reservation.
BJP government
My
done
only
that?
question to the Congress party is, why did they single out in such a case? What happened? What did they do for the country? That too, especially Hindus. Now, just give me 30 seconds. What happened in 1951? You brought in the Hindu Charitable Endowments Act. 1956, you brought in Hindu Bills of Code. Waqf Act in 1954. You amended it in 1995. You brought in Places of Worship Act in 1991. Minorities Act was brought in 1992. And you have a right to education bit where even the Muslim institutions cannot allow other normal students to come in. So therefore, my point is, if you are talking about distribution of wealth, distribution of all the resources, I only get reminded of 2006 Manmohan Singh statement. I think that's wrong. Everyone should get a fair benefit. So fair benefit includes Muslims, Hindus, everyone.
Okay.
So I don't think the policy of the Congress is you snatch it away from someone and give it to someone else. That's not correct.
My dear sir, Mr. Badhu, kindly give me one example where the BJP government has done something to the Muslims to uplift them.
I will tell you. I will give you, in Uttar Pradesh, 35% of the beneficiaries of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is Muslims, 37% of the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana are Muslims, 30% of the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana are Muslims. So therefore, when you are talking,
so backward?
what Muslims
Why
call, I'm
only
giving you the empiric
35%?
data.
Why
I'm
only
giving you the empiric
35%?
data.
Why only 35%?
Sir, why are Muslims backward?
Why
I
not
think that is a
60%
fundamental
equal to other
question
Hindus?
that we should be asking as a country in the year 2024. We have over 70 years of independence, of Garibi Hatao, Muslim ka Utthan Karao, and yet Muslims are backward. That's a very fundamental and a
Muslim
good
ka
question that you are asking. But let me bring in the issue at hand of hate speech. Tell me this, Anurag Naidu. Yes, there is an issue. It was a constitutional issue also. It was a legal issue, which is why initially it was struck down. The issue of Muslim reservation, etc. Even the issue of, inheritance. But to bring it all together during an election campaign, the Congress's point is you want to make it an 80-20 election again. Saying, oh look, Muslim quota. Oh look, Muslims will get our wealth. Oh look, Muslims will get our inheritance. Does this not amount to getting in religion, caste, community in an election speech?
No, absolutely not. I'll give you an example. Prime Minister, we are talking about Prime Minister's speech. One of the things that Prime Minister clearly articulated is, how does the Congress operate after winning an election? He gave an example about 2004. 2004, soon after winning the election, general elections in 2004, the government of Andhra Pradesh took 1% from the OBC reservation, gave 5% Muslim reservation as a first step. Prime Minister Modi is giving example about how a national party like Congress operates after getting into the power, right? It is for the people to understand and take, whatever they want to learn from this methodology. And people
But are
are
you
the first
seriously
time
saying
voters and the youth.
there is no dog whistle about Muslims are coming to take away our wealth?
No, that's what I'm telling. There is a methodology. Prime Minister Modi is trying. The underlying message is there are economically weaker section in all religions. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. So the step of the biggest step Prime Minister Modi in the last 9 years has what he has taken about reservation is 10% economic weaker section. The whole talk is about economical weaker section. Do we agree or not? Do we agree that your religion, my religion, or somebody else's religion has economically weaker section that needs to be supported? If we don't agree, then make it a point that we don't agree to this phenomena, we only agree to the religious phenomena. Okay. The whole argument is, do you buy this argument of reservation on the basis of religion or not? Say yes or no. Simple.
My dear sir, whether it is religion or whatever, all economically weaker sections has to be brought up equal to all other citizens of
Sir,
India.
that is not the way the Congress works. EWS quota was not brought in.
Why by some or the other...
Why are you, sir, not even talking about EWS quota? The leaders of the Congress party in the manifesto, why are they not
by
mentioning
whatever
about
name,
EWS
by
quota?
whatever name, what is the scheme you have to uplift the Muslim community in India?
Okay,
Why
I think
they should be left out?
Okay, we
Why they
should
not
come to the topic.
All the schemes of Prime Minister Modi in the last 9 years has benefited equally every single citizen of this country.
Let us not get confused. So just a second. Let us not get confused between two things. Affirmative action and then action taken on the basis of what is called vote bank politics. And that's where I want to come to you, Mr. Arun. Do you think the Congress is a victim of its history? Now, when the Prime Minister says, look, action X, action Y, action Z, it all goes to show that the larger aim of the Congress is appeasement. Let's listen in once to how D.K. Shivkumar and Priyanka Gandhi responded to this, and then I'll come to you for a response.
70 सालों से ये देश स्वतंत्र है, 55 सालों के लिए कांग्रेस की सरकार रही है. किसी ने आपसे सोना छीना, आपके मंगलसूत्र छीने. इंदिरा गांधी ने अपना सोना, जब जंग हुई थी, अपना सोना देश को दिया. मेरी मां का मंगलसूत्र इस देश को कुर्बान हुआ है.
As far as the Congress party is concerned, we believe in our culture. We believe in all religions. We respect the Mangala Sutra is a very important part of every female. We respect it. I never expected the Honorable Prime Minister to speak on Mangala Sutra. So I assure you, we are there to protect every woman's right and protect the interest.
Now, neither did D.K. Shivkumar nor did Priyanka Gandhi address the moot issue. Are you doing this for appeasement? They said we are for everything. I didn't expect the Prime Minister to talk about Mangal Sutra. Do you think they're falling into a trap where they stand accused of appeasement and they never address it?
The opposition should set the agenda. It is not the ruling party. But here, Congress is not setting the agenda, but every day it's been forced to react to a statement made by the BJP, especially the Prime Minister. That's what we have been seeing in the last 4 days. Of all things that the PM has said, which I think he could have very well avoided also, because he raked up the issue of manifesto, of Muslims, of all this, what you said, Mangal Sutra and others. I think the word called Muslim is not there in the Congress manifesto. It's mainly minorities, and giving justified, the equal distribution and all to the weaker section, to the distressed, our brothers and sisters. I think there is nothing wrong in it. Having said that, Congress also fails in its duty to properly make people aware of its policies and how the policy would be implemented. Like 10 people speak in 10 different languages on one issue. I think that needs to be avoided. I am seeing it's both at the center and even in Karnataka, which is ruled by Congress. So this must be avoided. People should be sent a clear message as to what they stand for, what the party stands for. Otherwise, problems like this happen, and Modi, raking up the issues every now and then, especially during the election time, I think is not helping Congress a bit.
Okay, so the BJP is setting the agenda, Dr. Basavaraj Itnal, and the Congress is playing catch-up. For example, not only playing catch-up, some congressmen are perhaps betting for the BJP, like Sam Pitroda. As it is, the BJP is on the offensive, then he steps in and he says, boss, we will take away 55% of your inheritance. What does the Prime Minister do? He says, I told you so. They will take your money. They will give it to their vote bank. How? How does that help?
This Congress, playing defensive is happening for last 10, 15 years. It is the BJP that sets frames the debate, and Congress is, they end up with answering the questions and defending themselves, badly so sometimes, very poorly so sometimes. But here what has happened is, coming back to the Election Commission notification, see, debating inheritance tax or wealth tax or reservation for Muslims, Hindus, whatever, it can be debated in a civil way, in a civilized manner. You cannot be stereotyping a particular community as Guspetiya, as multiple children having people. This is bad, precedent.
You're saying that's hate speech.
That amounts to hate speech because it's Prime Minister, come on. Prime Minister of the country using this kind of attributes for a particular community. You can say minorities, whatever you can say, but there are certain parliamentary, manners, parliamentary, language, whatever, whether it is right or wrong, we can debate. And when the Congress is saying that we do not have this clause of inheritance tax or wealth redistribution, they should stick to that. Just what Arun was saying. They should, instead, Kargeji says one thing, Sam Pitroda says exactly opposite thing. So they themselves coming across as confused.
I have to say it is very difficult to find people anymore to defend the Congress or what the Congress says and does. Shafiullah Sahib is the lone ranger over here.
See, Padmaja, all the 140 crore people look upon our Prime Minister as our Prime Minister. When he says very clearly, when he starts telling few people over there in the congregation, that one particular community's wealth will be taken out and it will be given to another community. It is a kind of incitement, which our Prime Minister should have avoided. It's a hatred speech, very clearly. Another thing I want to tell you is, see, the Prime Minister's office, every Indian has got a lot of respect for that. And our Prime Minister, he himself should have realized that and should not have stooped to that kind of level where he reduced the dignity of Prime Minister's office.
Okay, Brijesh Kalappa, do you also think that this is hate speech when the Prime Minister speaks of Mangal Sutra, or is it just making it relatable to people? For example, and I had never thought of it, somebody I know called me up and said the reason why he's talking about Mangal Sutra is because, for example, in villages, in the hills, what happens is women, when they want to keep some money away, they don't keep it in cash because the cash will be taken away by the husband, somebody else. They buy themselves a Mangal Sutra. they'll put a little gold at the center. Then as they keep getting money, they will put one little gold bead and their Mangalsutra. Because the husband, if he wants to spend money, will take away everything, but won't take away her Mangalsutra. What is it? Is this making it relatable to the voter, or is this trying to incite hate?
See, Prime Minister has been speaking in a certain way. And over the last 10 years, we've seen that this is his manner of speaking. And I think as far as hate speech and all that, the country's polity has moved far beyond that. Because we are not in 2014 today to say that this is a hate speech. If we were, newly witnessing this phenomena, then in 2014 one may have been able to say, yes, this is a hate speech. But we are far ahead. We are in 2024. And, instances of even the Prime Minister, instances of even senior ministers speaking like this are very commonplace.
So you think it doesn't matter anymore?
No, honestly, it doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter. But let me tell you, insofar as the Muslim issue, the Muslim reservation issue is concerned, Prime Minister himself has conceded that way back in his home state of Gujarat, about 50 communities, different communities belonging to the Muslim community are accommodated in the list of backward classes. So this is a big question. One is, of course, the Sachar committee report. And two is, of course, how do you accommodate and alleviate the Muslims and bring them to the mainstream? This has been an issue. Well, now it's been reduced to an election issue, but I hope in days to come, whichever government assumes office, will think of this seriously and not let it remain an election issue anymore.
Okay.
And actually do something to alleviate their lot.
Where you use words like घुसपैठिया, where you use words like जिनके बच्चे ज्यादा होते हैं, there can be a civil discussion without this demonization.
Well, absolutely. I think, Padmaja, you mentioned a good point about relatability. When Prime Minister Modi gives a speech, he tries to relate. He may go wrong, he may go right.
You don't have to relate to the lowest common denominator.
He may go right, he may go wrong. It's for the voters to decide. We will have the results and the results will speak for itself. I'll come to that. Sir, we all have been taking, one very important point, sir. We all have been taking moral high grounds on perception. Prime Minister, इतने बड़े Prime Minister को ऐसा नहीं बोलना चाहिए था. प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को ऐसा नहीं बोलना चाहिए था. I'll tell you what is the perception. Entire world, I'll tell you the real story of perception. Entire world is looking at the world's largest democracy and its election. The world do not expect the principal opposition party to only speak about appeasement and तुष्टीकरण in their manifesto. Free में हम बांट देंगे देश की संपत्ति. फ्री में हम लोगों को दे देंगे. हमने sir, please let me complete. It has been culturally the principal opposition party of this country has practiced what they are telling in the manifesto. That's why it is becoming very, very, comprehensive and very formidable to understand, for the people to understand. What they have done, loan waiver in 2009, they've come back to power. What they've always appeasement. So they talk about appeasement, they talk about तुष्टीकरण. Now it is for Prime Minister has said तुष्टीकरण और appeasement की राजनीति करते हैं कि नहीं. The entire world is watching. It does not look. So we are India, 5th largest economy. We are not Pakistan and Afghanistan, where we need freebies to go and vote. Okay. If you are telling about freebies, it is not looking about nicely about this country, sir.
Okay. Let Madhu Rao made a point, and then I'll come back to you, sir. Let Madhu Rao make a point as well, and then you respond, sir.
It only reminds me of the British time when Dalhousie brought in the concept of doctrine of lapse. I would want to say this is the policy of the Congress is doctrine of collapse. If they want to collapse, fair enough, they can do it. Now, point one, Congress is worried about the Mangal Sutra whenever the family is affected. Why was the Congress party not worried when the Mangal Sutras of the Kashmiris were affected? Why did they not even speak till today? What did they do for that? Point one. Point three, I want to tell that, there is a Waqf board. Now, let's come to the specifics. It is the third largest holder of properties in India, more than 8 lakh crore. Fair enough, that can also be distributed amongst all the citizens. If that were to be the case, then fair enough. Then also remove the Hindu Charitable Endowments Act of 1951, which has been re-amended in Karnataka in 1997. What has happened in Tamil Nadu, that also you please remove it. I'll tell you something. First time this issue of majority-minority came into issue in 1992 when the Congress party brought in the concept of Minority Act of 1992 and gave scholarships to only Muslim community. Why did you figure out like this? This is wrong. This is what we are telling. We want Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. But the Congress does not want this. And more than that, I just want to say one thing. these people are doing not only appeasement politics, it's like a quid pro quo politics. You vote for me, I will do it for you. That's not the case of how the country runs. So therefore, we are well enough in asking the Congress party, if you were to talk in these terms, then we'll also be having to talk in particular terms.
Madhu. See, appeasement, one side or the other, both are wrong. The safekeeping of the minority interest is always in the interest of the majority. In a country, majority cannot be so insecure about the minorities.
But sir, this is not about safekeeping of minority. This is about singling out one community. The simple argument. By all means, uplift the minorities. But you cannot argue that an entire community, all Muslims are all backward.
That is debatable.
Some of them are economically
that is
backward.
debatable. That is debatable.
No, but data bears out that all Muslims are not economically backward.
What I'm trying to bring out is...
Everyone who is economically backward should be uplifted.
Sir, I'll ask you a question, sir. I'll ask you a question.
I'm not finished my
Okay,
point.
let him finish, then ask him.
Prime Minister of the country, it is not a moral high ground that I would take, Anurag. It is about the constitutional norm. In 2019, the Prime Minister seeks vote in the name of the armed forces, which is a clear violation of People's Representation Act. And now, right now, they are seeking vote in the name of Ram. That is also wrong. And again, to top it, you are insulting, straight away insulting a particular community. This is no way, issue of morality. It's a question of constitutional propriety.
Okay.
Padmaja, ceteris paribus, all other things being equal. I would want to, you're just talking about the reservation issue. I just want to remind the Congress party that the Muslims as an OBC have been given reservation in Karnataka at least as 17% in category 1 and category 2 as 19%. So therefore, we are only asking why a separate 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. Let me put out the facts.
4% from
Masaraj, sir, please 1 minute. My question is, where I would love to be enlightened by all the eminent panelists. You please tell me a provision in the Constitution where in the Constitution it provides for a religious reservation. That is all we are asking for. We are not asking for anything else. We have already given. We have 1 minute, sir, please.
So that they
Can
are
I
equally
please?
brought equal
We
to
have
other
given
citizens of the
reservation
country.
under category 1 and category 2A, where 17% and 19% based on the communities on the backward caste have been given in terms of Article 4. The problem is, you want to appease my politics, you want to bring in the aspect of Muslims. We are not doing it. We are the last ones to do it.
No, another chief minister, just a second, another chief minister, and this is a question to both you and to Brijesh Kalappa. This is perhaps the worst kept secret of Indian politics, and it was put into words by Mamta Banerjee when she famously said that when a cow is giving you milk, I am willing to have it kick me also. And that basically is the politics that the Congress also seems to be picking up on and has followed, as exemplified by some of the instances stated here. And the BJP then goes out and tells people, look, the rest of you, the majority, is not a cow that is giving them milk or that they care for.
See, Padmaja, let me remind you, all the citizens of India are equal contributors of the tax. I don't think any one community only is the maintainer of the tax. Every citizen of country is contributing to the tax. The money which government spends on the public, it should be equally, properly distributed. Has BJP has got any plan or any scheme to the minorities to
Sir,
bring
answer
up
a specific question.
One more thing. No, one more, Mr. I want to ask Mr. Madhu one question. Just now he said in Constitution there is no provision for the reservation for Muslims. Okay, fine. In such a case, what is the plan you have to uplift the Muslim community
Sir,
in India?
again we are going back.
Do you want to leave
Hold
one?
on a second. Let me ask you a specific question.
You want to leave one organ of the whole body?
Sir, before we get derailed, I asked you a specific question on how you can hope to appeal to one community and then not be accused of appeasement.
We have never appealed to one community.
The National Commission of Backward Castes has specifically in its report said that how has the Karnataka government classified the entire Muslim community as backward?
It is purely a technical question. Technically, whatever.
Sir, are you saying that all Muslims, barring none in Karnataka, are backward?
Let me complete my answer. Technically, whatever the reservation given to the backward classes must be preserved. At the same time, Muslim community also should be given reservation by whatever reason, whatever.
Sir, you're not
Mr.
answering
Madhu
my question.
or
Let me
BJP
try
has
and
the
get
plan
this. Let me try and get this
in
from
order
Brijesh
to bring
Kalappa.
them equal to other communities.
Brijesh Kalappa, when you do such actions, and this harks back to Shah Bano, people remember and people watch. They say, Shah Bano, triple talaq you opposed. Many loudmouths in the Congress spoke up against the Babri Masjid judgment. Ram Temple consecration you boycotted. Then you have got this National Commission of Backward Caste saying, why have you classified all Muslims as backward? And then the BJP says, Exhibit A, B, C, D, E, here hence proven that you are appealing to only one community. Then to put that out in a public speech, is it hate speech?
See, as far as hate speeches, I've already answered. I said that the polity of this country has changed from 2014 onwards, and we have moved far beyond. Now, honestly, nothing can be classified as hate speech. The country has kind of become, we have developed a rhinoceros hide to hate speeches. But as far as the issue of Muslim minorities are concerned, see, this is a vexed question, and of course, you'll never find it in Parliament, because when the Constitution was actually drafted, then the Muslims didn't qualify to become a backward class, or they were not, because Sachar Committee report came much later. The Muslim standards were far higher at the time of independence. It has fallen now. So all I'm saying is that, of course, as an election point, let the Prime Minister make a few election points, let the Congress Party make a few election points, let everybody who wants to benefit a little from here, from, either castigating the Muslims or making them look good, and let that be done. That's all right. That's good for political parties to do. Point is that after the 4th of June, that comes the time when one has to concentrate on national building, nation building. And at that time, one has to take into account the fact that yes, the Muslims have been left behind.
Okay.
That's undeniable.
Okay, Madhuendra.
Padmaja, the matter is simple. If you're talking about reservation, I would like to, I just want to bring out two instances. As Mr. Brijesh Kalappa was talking, in the Constituent Assembly debates, most of the Muslim members of the community, Begum Aizaz Rasool, she told we do not want reservation. The reason is simple. In Article 30, there has been given a religious institution status for them, which Hindus do not have it. And we have not claimed anything
Article
far
30
from whatever is it.
Total
Fact of the matter remains.
Article 30 is completely different.
What I'm trying to tell
is,
is,
I can tell you that Article 30 has a totally different connotation.
There is an extra leverage to some of the minorities, which the Hindus do not have. That's what I'm trying to quote. The fact of the matter remains, if you are talking about distribution of wealth, I would rather recommend and ask the minority community also, especially the Waqf, which has more than 8 crore acres of land, let that also be distributed. Why do we want such a thing? And moreover, the important aspect of Congress party is this. In fact, it reminds me of 1963 and 1974, when the Congress party in a similar fashion brought something called as a compulsory contribution income, where they wanted some 17%, 18% of the incomes to be given on compulsory basis to the government. And in 1984, the very Congress party, they told, no, we do not want it. We will just want to take it off. And who was it? And the point is simple. This is a flip-flop of the Congress. They only do for appeasement politics for some time. Okay. Why are you doing it now?
Okay,
just you want votes, nothing else.
Then Mr. Arun. Yes.
No, see, insofar as Article 30 is concerned, Article 30 is not just about religious minorities. It's also about linguistic minorities. So the connotation is totally different. It includes a large group. Now, what is Sachar done? Sachar has found that one religious minority is way behind. Even in so far as appointments are concerned, even in so far as lifestyles are concerned, even so far as the standards of living are concerned. So at that time to fit them either under Article 15 or 16, that is impossible, because that is for a different set of people. Now this is a new constitutional conundrum. This has to be answered. Of course, to take political, mileage of it and to, castigate the Muslims, that's good. It's all right. Okay. It suits a political party. It doesn't suit a political party. That's all right.
Okay. The constitutional question is one side. Just a second, sir. But does it have resonance with the people? Has the image been created now that the Congress has a certain vote bank that they are pandering to? Mr. Arun.
I think people have seen this enough in the last 10 years. We have been seeing that, these political parties, both BJP and Congress, we know what they're going to say and we know what's going to be the reaction. But what has happened over the last 3-4 days is quite disappointing. Prime Minister of the country talking about, infiltrators and people whose family is very big, pointing out at a particular community. I think that's very bad. I don't expect my Prime Minister sitting in that high office to be talking like that. I think respect each and every one. Now, having said that, I'd just like to take off from what Brijesh said. I think we need to end this diatribe, meaningless diatribe, the high decibel ones of these issues. And there is need for a meaningful debate, consultation and decision of these very vital questions that is bothering our country. There is need to be sort of knowledgeable people sit together and then take a call.
But, while that is a great idea, I also want to point out that when it comes to hate speech, and because maybe it has become so commonplace that we've become immune to it, there was a leader of the Congress in Chhattisgarh who said that we want to bash Modi's skull in. We need somebody who will be able to bash him in. Another person again in Chhattisgarh who said, I should be elected so that on the 4th of June this spells the death of Modi. And n number of such statements have happened. So everyone becomes an equal opportunity offender. And I remember Azam Khan, perhaps one of the most shocking things that he had said about Jayaprada. So maybe we are talking about coarsening of the political discourse, but in that everyone is an equal opportunity offender, isn't it?
This is the sad part of Indian politics. When elections come, they think that they say anything and get away with. In fact, you mentioned Azam Khan. I was in Rampur, Uttar Pradesh, Western UP, during those days, when he said this, and I covered that election, and Jayaprada was crying. That this man is saying so many things, and that too being in the same party. And be that as it may, what we are witnessing now, I think it disappoints me as a citizen of this country, that the Prime Minister says this, and Congress party reacts the way it is reacting. I think there is need for a party to be focused on the issues that it's highlighting, and need to tell the people that, look, we are for this. You take it or leave it. That should be the attitude.
Anurag Naik.
I don't know, why do some people go very soft when it comes about double standard? You took examples very recently, Kangana Ranaut. What did a Congress spokesperson say about Kangana? Right? So you need to also condemn, you need to also take the similar spirited fight. Sir, when I mentioned about farm loan waiver, aapne bol Musliman ne kuch nahi kiya. When you talk about distribution, let us also talk about the Razakars, what they have done in Hyderabad. You don't want to come to the Razakars and the properties and the persecution that Razakars did. We don't want to get into any religious debate, sir. I'll tell you, sir, we don't want to get into any religious debate. Padmaja made a very good point. Padmaja said is Congress targeting...
We cannot leave them separate.
Sir, I'm telling you.
See, you must talk about Godse and Godse Bhaktas also.
Okay,
sir, I'm telling you, is Congress banking? Is Congress banking on
against the interest of the independence freedom fighters?
Okay, let's stay with Kangana and 2024
Only
right
Razakars
now.
are not responsible. Godse also responsible. Godse Bhaktas also are responsible.
Okay, finish your point.
Sir, is Congress banking on a particular religious community
No,
to
not
vote?
at all.
Sir, last two elections, Karnataka and Telangana has given a trend.
responsible
Somebody
for
told
getting
Rahul Gandhi, sir,
independence.
last two
country.
elections, sir, please let me complete. Last two elections given a trend. Somebody told Rahul Gandhi a particular section will vote for you. That's all it all began. I'm telling the reality. Now that is where the North-South divide starts. That is where South India is contributing. The tax devolution debate comes up. All these things are coming up from that particular narrative that one particular section is banking for Congress. Now narrative, sir, you'll only have narrative when you have a leader, when you have an appeal, and when you have issues. When you don't have three of this, you cannot build a narrative.
And when we talk about cheapening of political discourse, I think...
Minister talking about
But
hatred.
Raja,
So,
His
sir,
hatred speech.
Sir,
Please keep that in mind.
why would a Congress
When
spokesperson
you point
talk
out
about
others.
Kangana Ranaut and Mandi mein kya bhav chal raha hai?
Definitely.
That
see,
also happens.
See,
And Azam Khan also happened.
Any hate
A
speech,
Chhattisgarh leader saying that we will bash his skull in also happened.
any hate speech has to be condemned, but our Prime Minister's hate speech and inciting one section of the
Kangana
society
was not
about
even
other
hate.
section of
It
the
was
society
vulgar.
on the other society.
But
He is very
anybody
condemnable
saying anything.
Because he is responsible for the safety of all the citizens of India. How
Okay.
can he take one
Kangana was
side?
not even hate. It was vulgar. Vulgar, sir.
Padmaja,
Okay, the Prime Minister is held to a higher standard,
I
says
have one
Shafiullah
word for
Sahib.
Mr.
No, we've gone on to hate speech.
No,
So the
he-
Prime
he-
Minister is held to a higher standards, says the Congress.
Padmaja, we are talking about a Congress party now, which has a thought of an ultra-Marxist leftist thought now. Because at least left has a particular thought process. But now, after signing the agreement with the Chinese CPI in 2008, I think they become more Marxist and leftist than even the left parties.
Okay, let's talk about the hate speech. Let's not go to China.
No. The point is simple.
Completely derailed.
No, the point is,
One at a time,
the point is, I am talking about a party who shook hands with none other than Yasin Malik in the Prime Minister's office. No, I have to tell this.
I'm going to ask you a specific question.
Because I cannot keep on listening to this issue. Let me tell you the facts. If we are giving 80 crore, sir, please, I did not interrupt you, sir. If we are giving 80 crore ration to the people of India, it includes Muslims. If 240 crore vaccines have been given, it is given to the Muslims and Hindus. If 10 crore Ujjwala beneficiaries are there, it is been given to the Muslims. 4 crore houses have been built, it's been given to the Muslims and Hindus. So what are we talking about?
The argument is it's not just about talking of Muslims. A Supriya Srinath may write about Kangana, and that is condemnable, it's reprehensible. But she is still not the Prime Minister of the country. The Prime Minister says the Congress is held to a higher standard.
I just want to ask the Congress party, what is such a thing that it is very objectionable? You please let me know, please. What is something is objectionable? What has been mentioned? In fact, what has been mentioned in the manifesto? Sir, please, sir, don't do this, sir. You can do it in your KPCC office. What has been mentioned in the manifesto has been just aired. In fact, I would go on to a notch above and to say, this is nothing but a manifesto of the Muslim League of 1936. What's wrong in that we are asking for?
Okay, so they're standing by. They're saying we are only stating plain facts.
They are standing by on wrong interpretation of our manifesto. And whatever they have said, whatever Prime Minister has mentioned, that Muslims, the Mangal Sutras will be distributed among Muslims, is not at all. Just a minute. Not at all.
You please think of the Mangal Sutras which has been lost in Kashmir. Why don't you talk about it then? What happened to the properties of the Kashmiri Pandits? What happened to those things? What happened to those things? Please listen. You are only worried about the Mangal Sutra family? What about other families?
Waqf board is a religious properties caretaker. And all the religious properties together are going to account
123 properties was given just before the 2014 elections. How did that happen, please? How did that happen, please? You please ask your Congress office.
Government doesn't have policies to Muslims and they should only depend on Waqf board. How can you say like that? Are they not equal citizens of India? This is the attitude of BJP. Even our Prime Minister is talking and our friend is...
you have been misinterpreting, misquoting everyone, sir. We never talked that. We are only telling there has to be equal treatment of everyone, including Hindus and Muslims and everyone for that matter.
Okay.
You are taking it to a different level.
You know, since we are talking about personalized attack.
About Muslims and separate. He is talking about Hindus.
Okay, since we are talking about personalized attack, there was another issue that was picked up by the Prime Minister when he spoke of some of the personal comments we just described. He was referring specifically to what Rahul Gandhi said, where talking about the Prime Minister, he said, ये नरेंद्र मोदी बहुत घबरा गया है, ये जब भी घबराता है तो ये ऐसी बातें करता है. So in a rally in Madhya Pradesh, the Prime Minister actually picked up on that when we are talking about, very harsh speech, etc. Let's listen to what Mr. Modi said.
इन दिनों कांग्रेस के शहजादे, अब आजकल वो जरा इतने चिंतित है कि आए दिन उनको मोदी का अपमान करने में मजा आता है. मेरी सबसे विनती है कि कृपा करके आप दुखी मत होइए, आप गुस्सा मत कीजिए. आपको पता है वे नामदार है, हम तो कामदार है. और नामदार तो कामदार को सदियों से ऐसे ही गाली गलौज करते आए हुए हैं.
So, again we come back to this, Dr. Itnal, that the BJP and the Prime Minister's argument is, you are accusing me of dog whistling, but what about the personal attacks I endure at the hands of the Namdar.
Both parties are guilty of this. Personal attacks and hate speech. Both parties are guilty. Nobody is doodh ka dhula hua. Who called Sonia Gandhi bar dance bar girl? Is it not a personal attack? वो भी गलत है. वो भी गलत है. बट दोनों मौत हुए फिर भी एक नहीं मौत हुए उसका
बात क्यों कर रहे हैं सर?
किसके सरकार में मौत है उसके डायरेक्ट उनको मौत सरकार नहीं बोल सकते. यू कैनॉट डू दैट. देयर इज प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ. एनीथिंग वन थिंग एंड Madhu was talking about constitutional aspect of this reservation. If it was so wrong, Madhu, why did Bommai government take away only 4% of reservation of Muslims? They should have taken all reservation.
Wrong. You are understanding.
Then they should have taken everything. Why you took only 4%?
We took off only the 4%. I'll tell you. You ask me a question, I'll tell you.
I'll finish. Okay, that's number one. Number two, is it not duty? And you are saying it's about only Muslims they are, appeasing? And what about the rest of the reservation? Are they not Hindus?
I'll tell you, sir.
Yes, these are not Hindus.
Affirmative action as per the constitution is for the SC, STs and the OBCs, 15-4, 16-4 and also for the SC, STs. Point 1. Point 2. You're talking about as to why Bommai government took off the reservation. We have been categorical enough. Even Amit Shah ji has told, when we are also telling that religious-based reservation cannot exist in the Constitution of India. You please quote 1 minute, sir. You please quote a provision. I will leave the show and go. Please don't tell me that there is a religion-based reservation. Point 1. Point 2. I reiterate. Category 1, 17% reservation has been given to the Muslim communities under the OBC category, 19% under 2A category. We have given it. We are only telling what is not constitutional. It's just unconstitutional. If you are not able to understand in as many number of words, kindly read the constitution.
You know, Brijesh Kalappa, I have to say this. Today when we are talking about who is lowering the bar on public discourse. Fine, the BJP is being accused of, you're doing a dog whistle, you're bringing up communal issues. And then suddenly when it comes to what about the coarse statements being made by Congress leaders, they're like, it must be unequivocally. Is there really unequivocal condemnation when objectionable statements are made by both sides?
You see, Padmaja, we are now in 2024. In 2029, I can predicate we'll have exactly the same debate.
Exactly.
We'll exactly be speaking the same language and we'll say who's lowering the debate and who's, done the wrong thing. So I think, honestly, these issues don't matter.
Let
me come to the fact about Muslim reservation, right? One is Mr. Modi's own statement that certain Muslim communities in Gujarat have been included in the backward classes. That is one. Two is Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Devegowda, who actually included the Muslims in Karnataka. So even
Veerappa Moily included before that.
No, it was Mr. Devegowda. It was a thought which Mr. Modi came with, but that doesn't matter. Because honestly, I am in no political party. I'm not going to, if you're going to tell me it was Moily who did it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter because Mr. Moily is not in my party. I'm the only person in my party.
But just to put the facts out there,
it's not the fact. It is Mr. Devegowda. It is Mr. Devegowda. Anyway, that doesn't matter. See, what I'm now trying to say is, now, so much time has passed, right? And we are going to certainly have the same debate, like I said, in 29. But in the meantime, right, let's have some corrective measures. Let's do something good as we go along. Of course, these elections will come and we'll again be, at each other's throat. But let's do something along the way.
Okay. I think he wants to clarify on the specific point.
Add on to what Brijesh Kalappa sir said. I think
you want to clarify on the Veerappa Moily versus
exactly. There was a commission which was set up called as the O. Chinnappa Reddy Commission in 1990, based on which there was a cabinet committee decision which was taken by the Veerappa Moily government, and based on that the issue came into force. Now the point is simple. We are only against a religion-based reservation, nothing else. We are not against Muslims. We are not against any community for that matter. Let this Congress understand one thing, because they have been doing this appeasement politics right from 1951 onwards. Because I will tell you, I'll give you one analogy. Sir, 1 minute, sir. Sir, don't do this, please.
Why not?
I know you're not able to air your views in the Congress office, but don't do it here, please.
Sir, we are
point is simple.
He just read out his manifesto.
Plans you have
One at a time. Yes.
for Muslim community.
Sir, We do not want to distinguish the Muslim community vis-a-vis the Hindu community.
Then you want to leave
when
them
we
where
are
they
talking
are.
about, Arey boss,
don't want to-
when we are talking about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, we are talking about everyone. Now I want to ask the Congress
that
Party,
enough?
how did
talking is
how
enough?
did you pass
Is
1956
that only
Hindu
talking
Code of
is
Bills and you did not have the gumption to amend the Shariat Act of 1937? Why did you not do it?
If
The reason is simple. If you
the
go on to the
Sabka
history,
Saath, Sabka
if you
Vikas
go on
is
to the
true,
history,
why
I would
our
want to
Prime
remind you,
Minister was singled out
1949, Esas Begum Rasool, when she was the Constituent Assembly member, she very well told, we do not want reservation. Respect the
dear
Constitution,
sir.
don't amend the Constitution.
Okay, I'm going to give the final word to Anurag Naidu. Brijesh Kalappa said at the outset, all of this is pointless. The Election Commission will give notice. People really don't care because the fact is that now we are at a state in our politics where people are like, the gloves are off. We are going to state what we think are honest facts. Everyone else can take a hike. Is this now a given?
Yeah, that is how it looks to be. But Padmaja, it is our responsibility not to fight and understand. When you say one statement has been given from this side, you say that is, देखो भाई इसने बोल दिया. अगर जैसे मैंने बोला मौत का सौदा कर, बोला ना, that is also wrong. So let us accept why you want to bring up topics which are convenient to you and inconvenient to others. So it is not a debate. Don't take anything personally, sir. Let us not speak about religion. You spoke about what is your plan for Muslims. Why should there be a plan for a religious community, B religious community? There are Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, Jain, आप जो भी community लो, सब हमारे सर, सब भारतवासी है. And one more thing, sir, one very small thing, sir. When if you speak over me, if you speak over me, what if you speak over me, sir, if you speak over me, what Brijesh said will come correct. If you speak over me, you will never end into a conclusion, sir. If you speak over me, we will never come into peace. Only one small thing, sir. You're the country that one particular party is very obsessed with China. Even there, the Communist Party do not talk about distributing the national wealth. Tell me, do they talk about it?
All right, we are going to end it.
China has intruded in our
Okay.
territory.
Okay, we-
And our
Leader has
Prime
obsession
Minister
about China.
is not talking about
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But sir, one leader has an obsession about China.
All right, we are going to end it over here. The point right now is, when the Election Commission steps in and says it's time to ensure that the public discourse is not lowered, is there really going to be a solution? Is there going to be unequivocal condemnation and more specifically action taken against anyone across the board? Or is this the kind of discourse that we'll just have to make peace with because this is how elections are fought? We'll be keeping a close track. For now, thanks very much, all gentlemen, for joining me on the national debate. Thanks for watching.